Hello everyone, welcome to Ram's Auto Track Guy. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe now. And if you're following me on Facebook or Instagram, you've probably already seen that I've recently picked up a new car to use as a dual purpose daily and track car. I'm still going to be using the Mustang, and you've probably already seen that I recently got a sponsorship from American Muscle, which is awesome. I've got some coilovers and new camber plates en route, so can't wait to get those. But for now, I thought it's about time that I show you the new car that I've picked up, and here it is. So as you probably figured out, it's a Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art. This particular one is a 2009 with about 183,000 kilometers or 114,000 miles. Now, there are probably a couple reasons why this car is a little bit obscure and forgotten about. Number one, I think, is that Mitsubishi didn't do a very good job marketing it. I think very few people know that this car is out there and what it's capable of. Unlike the RX, for instance, which a lot of people know that it's a good upgrade from a base Impreza. It has a very capable all-wheel drive system. It has a turbocharged flat four. People know what you're buying, what you're getting into when you get it, and what kind of potential it has. But not a whole lot of people know that this car is out there and what it's capable of. They don't know what you're getting into when you buy it as far as capability. And the second reason is probably the transmission. If you do any research before you buy this car, you'll probably find a lot of complaints about it. It's a dual clutch transmission that's shared with the Evo 10 MR, and it's very expensive to rebuild or replace. A lot of people are complaining about the cost and are afraid of buying one because of it. I think that it's a bit risky, obviously, what I've done with a 2009, the first year of this generation, and also has relatively high miles, but it looks like those who are well taken care of and don't have a defect seem to be good. Given the relatively high miles, I think that it's probably okay as far as having manufacturer defects. I probably got one of the good ones. The second thing is you have to make sure you get one that is very well taken care of, very well maintained, with regular oil changes for the transmission. And this car has had only 2 owners with full service records, so I feel a little bit comfortable about it. It's really good value for what you end up getting. There are a few major differences between this and the Evo, of course. Number one is that you don't get the wide body kit, so you don't get the wider fenders, you don't get the wider tracks. You also get much narrower tires, which kind of goes with it. You also don't get the brakes. There are no Brembos in this car, and you also don't get the Evo engine. It's very closely related to it. I think it's the same short block, but it's different heads. And you get a smaller turbo. It's also single scroll turbo, not a twin scroll like the Evo. So this engine is a bit more tuned to low RPM ranges. I'm going to be posting a full review of this car, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But it's kind of a high level thing, is that the engine is more tuned for low RPMs and city driving, basically. So it seems to run out of breath compared to the Evo once you get higher in the RPM range, but still very, very flexible, very tractable engine. And the last major difference between this and the Evo 10 is the rear differential. It does not have the active torque vectoring differential that gives you the active yaw control, as Mitsubishi called it. This one is a mechanical differential. But if you try to forget about what you're giving up compared to the Evo and you think of just what you're getting with this car, it's actually very impressive. It's a very compelling package. This car has one of the most capable all-wheel drive systems you can buy. It's not just for its time, it's not just for its class or cost, it's one of the most capable, period. I'm going to leave a link in the video description to a couple of articles that I've written about all-wheel drive systems and how they work, kind of a deep dive and dissecting different ones. But as a high-level thing to understand why this car's all-wheel drive system is special, it has a true full-time all-wheel drive system that's always powering all wheels. Unlike most all-wheel drive systems that you get, whether they're front-based or rear-based, this car does not power a single axle until it detects slip and then sends power away from it. This car is a true all-wheel drive system that is a true full-time all-wheel drive system that's always powering all 4 wheels. What's even more special is that the center differential, which is obviously not located in the center of the car, it's in the front transaxle, but its function is in the center between the front and the rear axles. it has an electronically controlled clutch pack that can vary lock between the front and rear axle. So what that means is that if the front axle or the rear axle, which are both powered all the time, start to spin, the center differential can start sending power away by locking and powering the axle that has less spin, has more traction, sends power towards that. And there are a few different modes. There's tarmac, gravel, and snow. Now, this type of differential is actually very similar in function to very sophisticated limited slip differentials that are available now in a lot of very well known cars like Camaro SS1LE, Cadillac CTS-V and ATS-V, BMW M cars, Corvettes, and 911 GT3 RS or GT2 RS. Those differentials use basically the same type of technology with an electronically controlled clutch pack that can send power away from the spinning wheel, but this uses it in the center, so it can send power away from either axle. It's, again, like I mentioned, Mitsubishi didn't do a very good job of marketing the system, I think, and this car in general. And it gets even better because once you leave the center differential, the front and the rear axles both have limited slip differentials. They are mechanical, not electronically controlled like the center differential, but it's still very rare to find a car that has front, middle, and rear differentials are all limited slip diff. And this car goes even beyond that by using the stability control to slow down specific wheels that are spinning. Most modern cars rely on only electronic intervention, so they have open differentials front and back, or front only or back only, and then they start to slow down individual wheels. This car has a very capable system, mechanical system, that can send power away from any wheel that is spinning, and then it uses the electronic aids to complement that and provide additional control. Which brings me to another reason why I was really curious about this car for a long-term test, is the value. It's really good value for money, and because it's kind of obscure and forgotten about, you may be able to find a good deal because a lot of people are afraid of the transmission. This one was a really good deal. My budget was $4,500. I stretched it a little bit to $48 to get this car. Most cars in this condition that are this clean, well maintained, with full service history seem to cost near twice that. So I was very happy to find it and thought that if I waited, I probably wouldn't be able to find a deal like this for quite a while. So I picked it up, and hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. And I'll be posting updates about it and a full review like I mentioned. I'm going to be running the car stock for a little while, at least until track season, and see what the car is capable of stock. I'm going to be doing some minor modifications just for dependability and managing heat, intercooler, oil cooler for the transmission, and brakes, of course. I'm going to keep stock brake hardware, but pads and fluid and maybe stainless steel lines, we'll see. And if you're curious to see how those come together, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be posting updates on the car as well as a full review. And of course, I'm still going to be using the Mustang like I mentioned, with suspension coming from American Muscle. I'm going to be using that car for Time Attack this year, probably this car as well. We'll see what both cars are capable of, and looking forward to it. Hope you are as well, and if you're not subscribed, make sure to do so, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.